Maybe it would be best to keep a lid on things. Here's a look at the new Hasbro Indiana Jones Adventure Series Build an Artifact René Belloq Ceremonial. Rival archaeologist René Belloq prepares to open the Ark of the Covenant, a mistake that will prove disastrous. Kids and collectors alike can imagine the adventures of Indiana Jones with figures from the Indiana Jones Adventure series. With exquisite features and decoration, this series unearths the quality and realism that Indiana Jones devotees love. Is everybody ready to get their faces melted off? Okay, good. Before we get a closer look at the Adventure Series Build an Artifact René Belloq, let's grab the old tape measure, as we always do, to see how tall the figure stands. As well, I'd like to thank the folks over at Hasbro that did provide this sample of Belloq that we could have a look at in this review. Counting the top of his head, of course, that's attached to the rest of his body, at least for now, Belloq stands about 5 3/4 of an inch tall, or the figure's going to be about 14.5 centimeters in height. If you don't mind me saying, I think we've had ourselves quite the fun adventure lately looking at all these Adventure Series Indiana Jones figures. We did, after all, start our journey looking at Indiana himself, who, as you can see next to Belloq, is a little bit taller, counting, of course, more his fedora than anything else. Then we had a look at Sala. Then we also had a look at Major Todt. Then finally, in the most recent review, we also had a look at Karen Allen's Marion Ravenwood. Yeah, again, nice looking figures. Now, if you aren't so keen on the idea of, for example, the ceremonial version of Belloq, they are also planning, Hasbro that is, releasing in November 2023. They are going to be releasing Adventure Series Marcus Brody and René Belloq in suit, if that's something you prefer in your collection instead. Of course, passing on this version of Belloq will also pass the chance of also being able to build the Ark of Covenant. Some would say that's probably actually a better idea than what they end up doing in the movie. To come included with Belloq, you actually get yourself the posts. No, these aren't the posts. These are actually the parts that go in the middle of the Ark, and then the posts will actually sit on either side of it. You get these that obviously have connecting pegs on the end, so you'll know those are the parts that are actually going to fit to the side. Don't worry, I'll do all this here in a second. And then you also get more of the handles, the parts that are going to be sticking out from the Ark. Okay, so let's take the front half of this, which actually, just before we actually do that, I want to show you that some really cool looking sculpting that they put into the actual side handles here. But what you're going to do is you're going to line everything up here. So there's a hole obviously there. There's a hole, yeah, obviously there. You're going to take then the part that's in the middle and then sort of meet it in the middle. You're going to then take the post. Now, this isn't the easiest thing to do, obviously, in front of camera here, but you're going to take this part, slide it in then on the one side. There we go. Don't have it probably all the way in as best as I would want it. Sort of twist it in as best you can get it. And then you're going to do then the other side. Simply just rinse and repeat it. Now again, they don't fit in the easiest. I tried to do this obviously just before the review started, but I wanted to leave a lot of this for actually in the review itself. And you can also see as well, like the middle section is a little on the warp side. So if yours happens to look like this, you may want to heat it up just a little bit before you do it and put it together yourself. Do the exact same thing then on the other side. I'm going to do probably less talking, more doing, simply just because, again, I'm doing the exact same thing again. Fit this over top, yada, yada, yada. And then we'll, again, take the other post and fit it through the other side. I got to say, it's been a really rewarding experience as well. I mean, I would have also been on the fence, or on board, I should say, of actually just getting the figures if it didn't involve me having to build something at the end of it. But I got to say, not only have I liked the figures, but I've actually liked the build of actually putting together the Ark. Now, obviously, in the movie, you can remove the lid of the Ark. Just kidding. I shouldn't have done that. Anyways, you can take the lid off, and you can do it exactly the way it is in the movie. Best advice, probably leave the lid on. Best also advised that I probably shouldn't have done that in the video and scare all the people that just thought, for example, my face was melting off. The figure also comes included with his scepter. I like the look of this scepter. It's molded, I'm guessing, here in gold plastic. Some nice decorative ram work there on the top. And you can see as well that they've taken the time to paint the main part, the part that he's actually going to hold, in nice white paint. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of problem on the bottom of mine. It's a little bit of paint that's kind of chipped off, and I don't think it's probably going to be something that's going to be an ongoing problem. You simply just take the hand of Belloq. Now, he only has one hand for holding this because the other hand is actually just a relaxed flat hand. Just pry the fingers away from the palm. And then while you're doing that, just simply then take it's probably a little bit easier to do it mid-staff than actually trying to do it. Would you say this is a staff or a scepter? I always kind of think of it as if there's something on the end of a staff, then it makes it a scepter. by default. Am I right? Am I wrong? Some scepter expert's going to tell me down below in the comment section. Anyways, that's what it's going to look like in his hand. It does sit a little loosey-goosey. I also noticed as well, his hand is really loose from the peg. It's all the way on there, but it just seems really loose, I've noticed here on the figure. Let's remove the scepter for right now. I'm going to put that to the side. Staff, scepter, let me know down below in the comment section. Anyways, that's what Belloq looks like. Obviously, he's wearing his ceremonial gear. If you, again, aren't so keen on that, they are going to be releasing a 2-pack of this guy. I do like the look of him quite a lot. I think he honestly looks more like Belloq in person than he did initially when I saw images of him online. I think even the packaging doesn't really sell how well the sculpt looks on this guy until you physically have him in hand, or you get the next best thing. You get a person behind the camera like myself who gets the chance to show you guys what this guy looks like. Even have sculpted right down to the wrinkles. The eyes are painted really nicely as well. Large caterpillar eyebrows handled well in brown, with only just a peak of brown on the bottom of his hair. And of course, he's wearing the turban on top of his head. Even he's got the little wraps here on the back that are loose pieces. Well, they're not loose, but they're certainly separate from the rest of it. Doesn't limit necessarily the articulation that we're going to talk more about in a moment. He is obviously wearing his robe, and the robe sort of does just cover over everything. It obviously makes, for obvious reasons, a little bit more limitations when it comes to his lower legs being able to move. You really can't do any much movement from it. But it did look like, if I can actually just split this up the middle here, it does actually look like they sculpted real pants underneath. Well, real pants in the sense that it does look like they fully finished the figure instead of just, again, because it easily could have just left the articulation off for the top of the thigh, because obviously you're not going to be able to move him much anyways. But they did put a split there, I guess, if you did want to give him the somewhat splits. Nice pattern work overall, making up the majority of his suit. They also have alternated colors of a darker caramel brown and a lighter beige color, sort of making up the belt or the drape that he has down from the front of his sashed belt. He does also have a little necklace that he has in the movie. What flavor of candy would you like? Ooh, raspberry. But really, really nice. That's all done here in gold plastic. Obviously, they would have painted all the pieces over top of that. And again, really overall a nice looking figure. Flip around from the back so you can kind of see everything that's going on here. There's really, again, like some really nice paint applications been done to it. Even like the basket woven alternate colors of the red and the white handled well here. I don't really see any issues necessarily where the paint's been applied poorly or badly at all. Overall, just again, really, really nice looking figure of Belloq. For the figure's articulation, once again, we'll go back to his head. Head conveniently, not so conveniently, I suppose. That's how a ball joint works, but it works quite well. Does rotate all the way around. You can hinge the head up, you can hinge the head down, you can also rock it back and forth. Obviously, missing is a gimmick here where he actually does explode. Maybe Hasbro may release an exploding version of Belloq down the road. Let's all hold our breath for that. It's not going to happen. Anyways, the shoulders do come out. He has the means to, of course, hinge his arms at a 90-degree angle bend. You can take the arms, rotate them all the way around. That's on both sides. The figure does have a bicep swivel, conveniently hidden underneath his sleeve, actually. That's nice the way they did that. Single hinge only on the elbow, but you can at least rotate the forearm based on that. Hands rotate also all the way around. This hand isn't so bad, but again, like this hand here, every time I've tried to move it, it seems just to want to fall off the peg. And that's what the peg looks like underneath. So it sits a little loose. Obviously, that's not going to be helping for when he's trying to hold the scepter. Now, he has waist articulation, even though it would have just looked like they would have just covered the whole thing in one solid block of plastic, but not the case at all. He actually does have a hinge joint on the upper torso of his ball joint. Well, ball joint in the waist, so you can actually hinge the joint as well as I'm doing right now. The only thing that's really limited here on the figure, obviously, is his legs. Now, again, they did split the sides of his dress. What would you call it? Tunic? Robe. Robe would be the best thing to say. They did split the sides of the robe, so technically he does have hinge joints based then from that. Again, like, why would you even take the time to open this up anyways? But just to show you, he does have a swivel cut like 3/4 of the way up the thigh. The figure does have a single hinge in the knee, though it'd be hard to see it. Rotation in the leg, and again, he has all the same articulation in the ankle that have come with the territory of all the other figures that we've looked at so far. Apologies in advance for anybody that's picking themselves up off the floor right now. I probably should have tried not to remove the lid, but again, like, the lid is removable, and that's what the Ark looks like, the Ark of Covenants, when it's all said and done. Yeah, again, I've really liked this wave quite a lot. And again, it's not just starting and stopping with this wave. Hasbro's got everything planned out when it comes to Indiana Jones figures. Let's bring them all back in here. Of course, we are getting a couple of variations of Indiana Jones, one of which isn't going to have his jacket. We are going to be getting, again, that Marcus Brody Belloq 2-pack. That's going to be nice to see as well. And again, like, there's a lot of good stuff coming our way from the folks over at Hasbro. Of the figures, obviously, that we've looked at, all five of them, what would you say has been the best likeness? I still say it's Marion Ravenwood. I think she's the best likeness, and I really hope that she isn't the one that ends up warming the pegs. Maybe my least favorite figure might be just simply Sala. I think the likeness is okay on him, but I just think of all the other figures, and of course, you know, when you're looking at cool characters like Belloq and you're looking at Tote's just one of the funnest figures of this wave. But again, like, all have been a rewarding experience, not only collecting the figures, but also building the Ark of Covenant along the ways as well. Short of a little screaming, face melting, or just generally exploding, this is going to be the way I'm going to put Belloq on the display shelf with all the rest of my Indiana Jones displayed around him. Again, probably not a best idea to probably have the lid always removed, because of course I'm going to have to deal with all the spirits that may be circling around my basement, but I'm going to deal with that, because again, we've got ourselves a really neat looking Ark of Covenant that we've been building all the ways through all the 5 figures that we've now looked at, with the fifth figure finally being René Belloq. Still, though, I'm glad to see that not only do we get ourselves the ceremonial version of Belloq, but we are also going to be getting a suited version of him as well. So if you're not as keen on the idea of getting this guy displayed in ceremonial gear, then of course there is also going to be the option of a suited version of Belloq as well. Great looking figures overall. I'm wondering, though, probably unlikely that we are going to be getting any other Build-A-Series when it comes to Indiana Jones. I can't even think of any other thing that could be a Build-A-Series. I guess they could probably throw in some artifacts as maybe other things that they could throw in for future waves, but I guess really when it's all said and done, for an actual legitimate build thing, the only thing that really checks the boxes the most would be, of course, the Ark of Covenant. Once again, a big thank you to the folks over at Hasbro that have been all this while providing the samples of the Adventure Series Indiana Jones figures that we've had a look at. Again, let me know what your favorite figure was from the 5 figures that we've had a look at down below in the comments section. If you guys are interested and would like to certainly check out more from this channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below and that you're also turning on the bell notification. If you guys are also interested to pick up any of the Indiana Jones figures that we've been looking at over the last little while, it should be available also over on Entertainment Earth's website. I'll provide links down below in the video description, and anything that is currently in stock over at Entertainment Earth, or EE for short, you can actually, by using the link provided down below, save 10% off anything. That's not even just Indiana Jones, that's across the board for anything that's in stock. So happy shopping if you'd like. Also, as well, if you guys are interested, there's definitely going to be a lot more videos coming your way. I hope to think that you guys are going to be interested. Monday to Friday, we always have 2 videos popping up a day. That usually is without fail. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's always new stuff that you can be checking out content-wise here on this channel. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.